Was kann man lieben Freunde? Einudi und herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Folge der Haus in Fata Morgana. Letztes Mal haben wir ein bisschen mehr von Michels Flashback gesehen mit seinen Brüdern Georges und Didier und der Mutti Lydie und dem Bastardvater Antonin. Ja, meine lieben Freunde, jetzt geht's dann weiter, I guess. Ich bin sehr gespannt, wie es hier weitergeht. Ich habe sehr Bock. Ich denke mal, Ralph auch.
Ich hab ultra Bock, ja.
Ja, Freunde, wir sind heute in der 75. der Haus von Morgana Folge und wir gehen direkt rein in Hallion Days. Und ja, von letztem Mal habe ich jetzt schon gecallt. Wir gucken heute mal nach, was das bedeutet. Also ich habe absolut keine Ahnung, was Hallion bedeuten soll. Gucken wir nochmal nach, Freunde. Hallion Days, was steht's da? Glückliche Tage. Okay. Let's go, I guess. Sonic Sky, by the way, Freunde. Let's go. It was the spring of my 14th year. Also noch... Oh my goodness. Holy shit. Noch 3 Jahre dann wird er verbannt. Also, so wissen wir es zumindest. 10 Jahre, dass er da war. Heavy clouds filled the sky, blocking out the sun and giving the impression of late evening all throughout the day. Ist cool, weil jetzt kann er rausgehen, ne? Wenn da keine Sonne ist. I, for one, preferred it when the sun wasn't out. Obviously. Boah, der Sonic ist godlike. Boah. Sorry, Freunde, aber ja. So. Not that sunlight would kill me, but it was... If it was bright enough, the whole world was so white I could hardly see a thing. Immer stay hydrated, Freunde, ne? Which meant I could only go outside on days when the weather made most everyone else gloomy. Ich finde cool in dieser Dorf, wie es immer so reinfliegt. Ne, so Karten. Fragezeichen, seht ihr? As I was meandering through the courtyard, I spotted someone I had never seen before. Ja, und ich denke, by the way, Freund, das ist dann die Person, in die sich Michael verliebt hat und dann I think he had the girl to fall for me. Was er so Dinge erzählt hat, aber so halb gelogen. Giselle. Ja. A warm breeze blew past, sending up a swirl of flower petals. The girl's dress hung lightly over her frame, tracing her gentle curves. Who are you? I asked bluntly, and the girl twirled around, smiling. I'm me.
My apologies. You just have such a beautiful courtyard here. I let myself in for a little walk. Einfach hier ein Grundstück betreten.
Hausdrehsbruch! We will kill you like a bitch. I will kill you, son. I will kill you, infant dada.
If you deliver this heritage when I play, I will fuck you
Like a pig. Long, chestnut hair flowed her over round, feminine shoulders. It swayed slightly in the wind. The cloud of melancholy dissipated in the light of her smile.
You must be Michel. You're just as pretty as I heard.
And you are?
My name is Aimee. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
Finally, meet me? What was she talking about? As I stood there buffeted by the strange woman, she stepped forward me, kissing me softly on the cheek.
I'm thrilled to make your acquaintance, Michel.
Her voice was like someone pouring honey into my ear. Electrifyingly sweet.
Electrifyingly. I'm George's fiancée.
And it also stuck another needle into my chest. She was a noble girl by the name of Aimee Jobert. Though only 15, she was the very image of refined polish to her shine. Oh, hold up. Kommt hier nicht Georges wie unter 18 vor. Ist hier Georges irgendwie so 25 und sie ist 50?
Ja, das war früher normal, I guess.
Ja. No one had told me my brother was to be married. Oder vielleicht denkt man einfach nur so, weil fucking der Erste so alt aussieht, ne? Lydia.
Ja, aber George ist mindestens älter als
Wir.
Ja, und wir sind
14. Im Moment. It came out of nowhere. And it seemed I was the only one who didn't know. That evening, when the family gathered around the table for supper, Amy was there too. And they prepared an extravagant feast for the occasion. My father, Antonin, looked so proud of his 2 boys, Didier soon to receive his assignment and Georges soon to be wed. The banquet proceeded smoothly, not a doubt in the air that we were a happy family. But my mind was elsewhere. I found myself unconsciously chasing Amy with my eyes, watching the way those slender fingers gripped her spoon, her full lips parting to allow a piece of fruit in. Her deep red tongue visibly for but briefest of moments. Huh?
visible, oh ja.
Visible, yeah. The way all the muscles in her face seemed to
Du
relax.
sagst Muscles, also das C ist so fast
Muscles.
stumm.
Muscles. To relax in bliss as sweet juices seeped into her mouth. So, mich jetzt gleich kommt so das mit Ang und Hoff. The way she spoke, so soft and gentle, letting each sound hang in the air just briefly before intoning the next. She was distinctly feminine, in a different way than my mother. Apparently, Amy was going to be living at the Bollinger estate for some time. Mother was pleased to have another girl around. Or more specifically, she was relieved to have found someone other than my brothers for me to spend time with. I had assumed I would hate being around another girl. Surely she wouldn't be able to play chess after all. But for some reason, I felt much less suffocated around her than my mother. One night, Ami's family and an array of nobles from both houses' social circles assembled at the estate for a party. A din, the likes of which I had never heard in my life, filled the great hall. Everywhere I looked, there were people. So ein geiles Handwerk, krass. Servants scrambled every which way. Silverware changed, clanked against dishes in an almost constant hum. Voices from all directions. I felt moderately ill.
Hey D, I feel like we're critically short on waiters. They don't look good for us. This don't look good for us.
And who was it who went about inviting everyone he came across again? Who are those people?
They're artists like me. I met them at the court. Let's see. We have some painters, composers, sculptors, troubadours, poets, writers, you name it.
None of them have any connection to the Jobards or Ballingers.
Sure they do. They're my friends. And you know, this is me and Imi's party.
You can play with your friends elsewhere. I hope you realize we have a reputation to uphold. Off in one corner, several men, presumably George's friends, gathered in a circle. They stood out from the other aristocrats, both in appearance and the air they gave off, the clothes they wore, the embroidery hidden beneath their jacket cuffs, their manner of speech, the way they held themselves. They were, simply put, a far cry from the hard-headed Didier's ideal party guests. Even watching them from afar, it was clear my two brothers ran in very different crowds. The only reason headstrong Didier and free-spirited Georges were able to get along at all was because they were brothers. If they had been strangers, I doubt their paths would cross much, and if they did, those intersections would be quite rocky.
Hey, come here, guys.
George's shouting voice pulled my preoccupied mind back to the surface. He summoned his friends, then led them to where I stood.
What are you doing hiding in the corner, monsieur? I didn't even notice you. Allow me to introduce you to a few of my friends.
Oh, no, Georges put his hands on my shoulders, peeling me off the wall and standing me in front of his male friends. Socialization was the last thing on my mind. I searched for Didier, hoping he would come to my rescue, but he was off treading pleasant trees facing away from me.
This is my baby sister, Michelle.
That's a baby sister.
Ja, wie alt ist er, hallo? Wie nice.
Georges, I don't...
Gracious, your skin is even more pale than I imagined. It's like something out of a fairy tale. And why have you never brought her with you to the court? She'd be a sure hit. And how old are you now? 12, mayhap? Mayhap. No, don't treat the lady like a child.
Du hast baby sister gesagt.
Yeah. I'll have you know she's 14. All the more reason she should be out there making friends. The whole court would flip if they knew you had such a gorgeous sister, Georges. Don't be a brute, my man. Our little angel has to be kept inside for personal reasons. Uh-oh, sounds like I haven't been shown the lady her due respect. I've yet to even properly introduce myself. How rude indeed.
The laughs grated on my nerves, and so did the way Georges spoke as though I was his property. They looked like they were appraising me, which made me sick to my stomach. I had been paying enough attention to notice the man who had asked if I was 12 and the rest of them too, examining me from head to toe in search of curves. I was indeed underdeveloped for 14, but what did that matter? I didn't want a body shaped like Amé's or my mother's.
Now then, milady, a proper greeting.
The man got down on one knee before me. Geh doch auf beide Knie, you bitch! For a split second, I didn't comprehend what he was doing.
Go on, monsieur. He's waiting.
He whispered into my ear.
Was war denn?
Go on, Michel. He's waiting.
Das will man wahrscheinlich nicht hören. Ja.
Egal.
Weil das hier in den roten Bereich wahrscheinlich kommt.
Go on, Michel. He's waiting.
Oder vielleicht, ja, ich weiß nicht, mal schauen. That was when it all came back to me, the traditional greeting performed between a man and a woman. Man streckt, glaube ich, die Hand aus und küsst die Hand aber nicht wirklich. Also man tut es, als würde man sie küssen. Oh, ups.
Come on, Michel. Don't tell me you forgot what to do.
I knew the process. I had that knowledge. Mother had taught me the rules, shown me the procedure. I was to present my hand to the man for him to kiss. All I had to do was hold out my hand, but I was frozen. My body fought tooth and nail against the simple act. The thought of that man putting his lips on my skin sent a chill through me. Why? Why was this a traditional greeting? Ich sag, man täuscht nur an.
I guess not.
Ja, anscheinend nicht. Why did I have to go through this?
Michel.
But at the sound of George's frantic voice, my arm creaked up from my side. Then I remembered that despite being his friends, there were still nobility. As wanton as his social interactions may have been, he still had a reputation to maintain, and I understood that. I also understood that as a sister, it was my responsibility not to do anything that might tarnish either of my brothers' names. Also, by tradition, the man wasn't supposed to actually kiss the woman's hand. Ah, yeah. The proper way to do it required he simply mimic the act rather than make real contact.
Ja.
That much I could handle.
Aber er macht wahrscheinlich falsch.
Ja, und dann so, get the fuck away from me! Ja. Gleich so crash out. Ich weiß schon. The man kneeling before me gave an uncomfortable chuckle at my reluctance, shrugged and reverently took my hand in his. And then he pressed his lips firmly against my skin.
Ja.
Also er hat falsch gemacht. There was a vaguely warm sensation on the back of my hand for the briefest moment. What do you... Reflexively I smacked the man's hand away. George's eyes went wide in horror, and the man gave another playful shrug.
I was merely offering you a greeting, milady. Or is even that a new experience to you? Your innocence is truly precious.
I was half a second away from throwing a barrage of insults, but I bit my tongue and stomped off instead.
What? Michael! Hey! Come back! Michael!
I had spent all that time convincing myself I couldn't humiliate my brothers, but now I wouldn't hear a word of it. I had drawn a fair bit of attention and other people tried to stop me too, but I brushed them all off, marching my way out of the great hall. Guck ich das Wasser an, Freunde. I feel so dirty. You called that a greeting? No, that was no greeting, that was... I'll be taking that. I said, practically swiping a glass of water off a passing water's tray and it's wirft es in die Fresse. With it, I washed my hand by the window, facing the courtyard. But no matter how much water I poured over it, I couldn't erase the sickening sensation of his mouth on my hand. So I rubbed it with my sleeve until my skin was bright red. I wanted to feel something else, anything else than even pain. Think before you act, Georges. What were you doing inviting people like that into our home? I was angry and I had every right to be. He had not performed the proper greeting. Even in jest, he had no business actually putting his lips on my hand. It was not acceptable behavior for an aristocrat. He was a guest, he should have been ashamed. Was I angry that he had been disrespectful? No, that wasn't the reason. It was...
That wasn't very nice of you, I ran off like that.
Dieser Bozo, I guess. At the sound of his voice, I couldn't turn back. I felt a sickening warmth almost directly against my back. The man from the great hall grabbed me by the wrist, spun me around and pressed me against the wall. The bitter scent of wine vaulted from above.
Scent.
What the hell are you doing? I was drunk, I guess. I tried a second time to get away from him, and that was when reality sunk in. I couldn't do it. All the strength I could muster wasn't enough to make the man's hand budge. My arms were locked in place. I didn't think he was especially strong either. He was hardly built like Didier. And still I couldn't move an inch.
You've got a tongue like a boy, milady.
But I know some people are fond of that these days.
Can't say I mind myself.
Let go! Had I always been this feeble? Were my arms truly so worthless I couldn't even escape this brute's grip? Why did I have to get stuck with this body?
Now, just so we're clear, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm no monster, I promise you that.
Then why are you holding me against the wall?
Because I want a chance to try and woo you. I apologize if I made you uncomfortable back there, but the second I laid eyes on you, I knew you were a keeper.
Then let go of me!
But if I do that, you run away. And it's my personal rule to never let go of anything I like. Your brother says you can't go outside, so if I set you loose now, I may never get the chance to catch you again.
I wanted to vomit. Apparently taking my silence for approval, the man perked up and kept going.
If you're not accustomed to being around men, then why not use this as an opportunity to get familiar?
Ich hoffe, jetzt kommt Didier und bricht ihn den Hals.
Ja, bitte töte ihn. not a half bad idea, if I say so myself. And I think we get along quite well. Besides, I'm a minstrel. Spend some time with me and I'll write you all the songs you could possibly want.
Get away from me!
Ah, you really do have the most striking eyes. Makes me want to keep them all for myself.
Ja, spuck ihm in die Fresse.
With a muse like that, I could write the most incredible songs you ever heard.
I said, get back, you creep!
Huh, that's odd. That one's never failed me.
The man brought his face in just inches from mine and peered into my eyes. I could feel his hot, wine-stench breath against my cheeks.
Yeah, I was drunk.
It gave me the chills. I couldn't understand why this was happening to me. Panic and confusion had my heart racing.
Jetzt Didier, bitte.
Go try your luck with someone else. I'm not interested.
You will be soon enough, darling. You've simply never known a man's touch.
He drew closer. He was already practically on top of me, but still he closed in. Closer and closer. The world faded out. I couldn't see anything. I could feel his rising body heat so near it made me nauseous. My eyes flung open, but there was nothing there. I could only feel. I couldn't move. My body wouldn't budge. In my mind, I kicked the man away, pulled my fist back and slammed it into his jaw. Again and again and again until his face was unrecognizable. Again and again and again and again I beat him. But reality would have none of that.
Michael! Hey! What do you think you're doing?
3 seconds, 10 seconds, longer. I had no idea how much time I had lost. But the next thing I knew, Georges had the man by the collar. I fell back against the wall, staring absent-mindedly as the two struggled. They traded blows and they traded insults. Before long, they had drawn a crowd. While they went at it, I distractedly drifted away. And I only had one place to go. Bedchambers, I guess? I didn't even bother to light a candle. I just stared into the darkness. My heartbeat was maddeningly loud in my otherwise silent chambers. What had happened? What had he done to me? Why? Why couldn't I do anything? The last thing I wanted to do was cry. Tears would only serve to worsen my humiliation. Only magnify how wretched I was. Only make me more effete. I bit down on my lip hard. I had no need for that trash on my body. I dug my nails into my arms. I had no need for that trash on my body. All of this, every last bit of it. That was why I was the way I was. I didn't know how to put it into words. I didn't know how to express this boundless frustration within me. But after enough wordless groaning, a single word slipped from my lips, and it felt incredibly right. God damn it! I knew good and well a girl should not be using such words. Even Didier and Joris would have gotten an earful from mother or father if they were caught saying that. Regardless, God damn it! It was the most fitting word I could come up with to represent even the smallest bit of my anger and loathing. I knew all I was doing was shifting the blame. That all it would accomplish was making me look pitiful. But I would take that over crying like a girl any day. I let loose a sigh that was halfway to being a scream. Then started clawing wildly at my hair. Clawing. I wanted to yank out every last damn strand of it. I didn't want it. I didn't want any of it. any of this body. But in that case, what did I want from my body?
Michael, come in. Michael.
It was George's voice, slightly muffled through the door. The man who had invited those people into this house. I would be lying if I said I didn't hold that against him.
Michael.
But at the same time, he had also come to my rescue. Besides, I hated myself the most. I despised myself for being so helpless.
I'm sorry, Michael. I didn't mean to hurt you.
It's not locked. After a few moments of silence, Georgia stepped into my room.
Your hair is a mess, Michael. And my god, you're bleeding.
That was when I first noticed the stinging sensation in my lower lip. A metallic taste spread through my mouth. I had been biting it much harder than I realized. But there was a lot more blood than I expected. A trail of it was running down my chin, seconds from spilling onto my clothes when Georges wiped it away.
I'm really sorry, Michael. He can be a real ass when he drinks. Der erst war ein Hurensohn, was ist das für ein Dude? Get the fuck away. And he's a bit of a womanizer, that. I never expected he tried to go after you, though. I'm really sorry, I didn't mean for this to happen. But, you know, there's a chance he may have genuinely taken a liking to you.
That just makes it worse.
Sorry, you're right. You want to be with a man you like, I understand.
He ran his hands through my hair, as if trying to calm me down, at the same time cleaning up the mess I had made of it. It made me feel like I was some kind of plaything. A joke of a doll. I don't... I don't want to be with anyone. I would never, ever be comfortable with a man putting his hands on me like that. However,
I'm sure you'll find someone eventually, Michelle. Someone that fits right for you. I feel kind of awful for introducing you to him, but there are plenty of men in the world. You might not be interested now, but that will change soon. It's part of growing up. You'd be best off forgetting today ever happened.
I was that certain, but apparently that wasn't enough to convince him. The very idea that I might one day meet a man who I wanted to touch me made my skin crawl. Why? Why did I feel like this? Was I just not interested in men? No, if that were the case, I wouldn't admire my brother's bodies. I didn't have an aversion to men. In fact, I enjoyed spending time with my brothers far more than indulging my mother and her woman's world. What I couldn't stand was the particular look men would sometimes give me. But why? Why did I not like that? I had no answer, my thoughts were only going in circles.
Are you okay, Michel?
He peered down at me, his face twisted in concern. But I couldn't answer him. How was I supposed to articulate this? My anger, my frustration, my irritation, my fear. I had no confidence he would understand.
Georges, was Michel?
Amy's voice came from the doorway. Inexplicably, I felt like someone had stuck their hand in my chest and was now squeezing my heart. Like I had just been caught in a compromising situation by the last person I wanted to see me.
Yeah, she's doing good. Aren't you?
Yes, I'm fine.
Glad to hear it.
I was clearly lying, not even looking him in the eyes when I'd say that. But that seemed to have gone over George's head. Me, on the other hand...
You don't look fine at all,
she said, a hint of pain in her voice, and then entered the room.
George's father was asking for you. He says it's time to bring the gathering to a close. You should get going. I'll stay here with her. Oh, is he? Alright then. Sounds good.
Once the sound of George's footsteps had faded into nothing, Amy took a seat beside me and, without warning, wrapped her arms around my shoulders.
It's much better to talk to another girl at times like this.
My heart leapt into my throat. But beyond the shock, I also found myself welcoming the warmth. It was pleasant, unlike the man's.
That must have been terrifying. But don't worry, safe now.
So, it wasn't really no.
No need to pretend, sweetie. If a man had me pinned against the wall, I'd be scared too.
I mean it. I wasn't scared. I'm just disappointed in myself.
Alright, I believe you. You're a strong girl, Michelle. There are many who would have been scared. Who wouldn't have been scared. I'll be sure to give Georges a stern talking to about his choice in his friends. Something I learned today is that he's somewhat of a pushover here.
You're a lot more tenacious than I thought.
As a woman in this world, you have to be. And if you're not well, you'll figure it soon enough, Michael. Of course, even as strong as you are, I'm sure it'll still be difficult to forget what happened to you today.
George had taught me to forget it as soon as possible, and Amy that I wouldn't be able to. Was it the difference in the individual perspectives, or was it the difference between the way man and woman thought? I wasn't sure. As my head rested against her breast, a bit of my frustration slipped out.
God damn it.
I couldn't move my arms at all. He didn't even seem all that strong. I couldn't believe that I was really so weak.
That's just the way of the world, Michael. Men are physically stronger than women, so you'll almost never overpower one. You're not any weaker than a normal girl. Don't blame yourself.
Though it wasn't the consolation I had hoped for, her words still filled me with warmth. I had exploited my own weakness to hear more of that soothing voice. Deswegen, also ich glaube, habe ich jetzt erkannt, deswegen hat auch der Bruder nie ihm zurückgeschrieben, weil er sich probably in Amy hier verliebt hat und sie ist die Fiancée von seinem Brother.
Ja.
Und er hat nie den Letters zurückgeschrieben. Probably. Ja. Hab ich's vorgelesen?
Ja.
Ja. And I alone knew how foolish I was in doing so. Boah, Freunde, hört ihr gerade den Regen? Echt?
Ich höre nicht.
Ich glaube schon.
Müssen wir mal abchecken, aber...
Vor allem Freunde, so als wenn unsere
Ja, genau.
Freunde das hören. Egal. Freunde der Freunde der Freunde der Freunde der Freunde der Freunde. Wir gehen jetzt weiter. Kommen das sind noch die glücklichen Tage, ne?
Ja.
Ja, der Freunde, würde ich sagen, nimmt den Like-Button auseinander, checkt andere Part-Videos, Streams ab, abonniert gerne, aktiviert auch gerne die Glocke und ja, nice Let's Play, ich bin gespannt, wie es weitergeht. Und damit würde ich sagen, wir schauen, Freunde, und
Reingehauen!
ciao!